You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Parenthood After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Parenthood.
May God bless and keep you always.
May your wishes all come true. May you always do for others what others do for you.
Sing it, girl.
That's all I know.
Come on, everyone.
And may you stay forever young.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV Parenthood. We are doing Season 5, Episode 10. All there's left is the hugging. There were a lot of moments in this episode. Yes, Chief. There were a lot of moments in this episode where you needed hugging. All the characters needed hugging. A lot of ups and downs in this episode. Overall, what were your thoughts for this episode? Was it amazing? We've been gone for 2 weeks. Did you like it? Did you hate it?
It's emotional.
It was emotional.
It was kind of, well, this season's kind of been downery in general, but I felt like it was a downery episode. But Mae Whitman is such a good actress.
Amazing.
She was so good. I mean, we're going to dive into all that drama, but I think
heartbroken
she did
with her.
amazing.
She was amazing. I was heartbroken with her. I thought I kind of liked this episode, but there were some things, I don't know how I really felt about it, because I felt like having 2 weeks off and then coming back in, it just didn't really fit in the flow for another 2 weeks to be off again. You know,
It broke it up.
It kind of broke it up weird.
Yeah.
It just ended up being broken up weird. So I don't like that I was so depressed and then have 2 weeks off, as opposed to being like, the election would have been a great spot for me to be like, okay, new episode in the new year.
Well, if you think about
I
it,
agree.
Yeah, if you think about it, the last episode kind of ended on a happier note, and then
Yeah.
this episode kind of ended on a sadder note. But speaking of election, Kristina, she lost the election. She's getting over it, and she's putting on this face that, oh, yes, I lost it, but trust me, I'm fine. Adam's kind of concerned about her. He's like, you know what? You can let it out. You know, this is just me you're talking to. You don't have to talk to any press people. This is me. Tell me what you're really feeling, how you feel about Bob Little winning after losing behind how many points? 2 points, 900 and something.
67
Yeah,
votes,
60
I think it was.
That's a lot of votes. But
Can we
Yeah.
just say how awesome the husbands are on
Love
this
them.
show? Because Adam knows his wife so well that he knows that she's just putting on this brave face. Get it? Braver
Man.
Brave face.
oh, you're so funny.
Well, they said it like 3 times in the episode tonight, and I kept laughing every time they said it. But you know, he knows his wife, so he knows that even though she says she's fine, she's not, and that the only way to get her to come to deal with this is to actually have her
Make her crack. Like
and
an
do
egg.
something. Yeah, like an egg. Scramble her up real quick.
I thought we'd just continue with the whole, yeah. But
But yeah, I think that what he does is amazing, and it's exactly what she needed to do.
how sad was it, though, when that lady came up to her in the park asking to fix the slide, and then
How
she
embarrassing.
didn't.
How embarrassing for that
No.
woman.
Awkward.
How do you not know that the election happened already?
It was like, oh, you obviously didn't vote, or no one voting was. And she was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll vote for you if you fix this slide. It's going to hurt one of our kids.
Duct tape.
And then she had the nerve to get mad when Adam was a smart ass back to her. You know, all of a sudden she's offended. You just walked up to someone claiming, you know, oh, aren't you running for mayor? And, oh, I'll vote for you if you do this. And they got mad because she was like,
Missed
I already
your window
lost.
of opportunity.
yeah. I didn't like her.
But I loved how Adam was kind of joking to Christina, being like, you know, it could be your kid that gets hurt on the slide. So you should do something
Maybe you
about
should
it.
do something. Maybe the mom should go take it up with Bob Little.
Yeah.
She probably should.
Bob.
I bet that happens to people in politics all the time, though, because their faces are everywhere, but not everyone really pays attention to that stuff.
You know what I'm going to assume?
Kind of like, oh, I've seen you somewhere before.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that it's because they're in Berkeley, the mom was a stoner, and so that's why she missed the election.
Yes.
That's why she didn't know it already happened. She was too high to realize it.
That's
That's
definitely
just
a
an
big
assumption.
possibility.
Yeah.
But Kristina's friend, her friend with cancer, I always forget her
Gwen.
name. Gwen.
Gwen.
She's actually like one of my favorite characters. I can't believe I always forget her name. But there's a part where she's smoking weed. Of course, she has cancer. And she calls Kristina a square, which I thought was so appropriate because she is kind of a square. She's too uptight sometimes. And that's why I'm glad that Adam kind of like made her throw the eggs. I really wanted them to pull out paint cans and start graffitiing and doing mustaches on his face. That's what I thought
they were going to get arrested and that it was going to be like breaking news, you know, woman who was running for mayor now arrested for vandalism.
No, I knew it was going to be eggs because first they see a big billboard. What's the first thing you're going to do? It's egg it. And then plus Kristina asked what's in the brown paper bag. I worked in a grocery store for 5 years. I know what's in that bag. I knew it was going to be eggs. That was really funny. That was a nice moment where Kristina really let out her emotions to Bob, even though she didn't say it to Bob the person, but she did say it to Bob. And unfortunately, yes, she did lose, but she took it with a grain of salt that she really just embraced it and really just moved forward from there.
Yeah.
I don't like how everyone around her was so negative about her losing, though. I think I'm a very positive person, so I feel like I would be like, I gave it my best, kind of like her, but everyone else was like, oh, you lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You must be
They're,
really
tiptoeing
depressed.
around her.
And she was also enjoying the cake.
Oh, gosh.
And she had Max eat that cake.
Max
went
straight for the eyeball. Of course.
That was a lot of sugar. I was like, are you sure you want to feed Max, of all people, all that cake?
But how awesome would it be to sit there with a sheet of cake that big
I would love that.
and just a fork and just... You don't have to eat the corners. You can go straight for the middle.
Go for it.
You can just do whatever you
but
want.
who
That would be
hasn't done that?
Oh.
Am I the only one who hasn't?
Growing up, my mom at my birthday parties, she would just give us all my friends spoons and we would attack. It was so much fun, but no one had slices. Just be attacking.
Just be
it's the way to
attacking.
do it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fun too. But ultimately,
I'm kind of glad she didn't win, though, because I was like, ugh, this is going to be such a boring plot if she wins.
it really would have. But I think that something they could do is Bob Little could have her on his staff, or something, after you
Again.
leave. Well, I mean, more of an appointed official position within the team, maybe put her as a special person in charge of educational programs or appoint her to something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Obama did it with Hillary Clinton, so.
It's true. That is true. There was a quick moment. I think I can't remember the exact line, but Kristina said something, I'm going to do something, and made me think for a quick moment that what if she does a re-election?
Oh.
She tries for it again.
Oh my gosh.
That would be interesting.
I mean, she was saying, I would be a better mayor and all these things while she was throwing it, which is true. She would be.
And maybe the second time around, she might come out with Bob Little's dirty little secret. Because she didn't do it the first time.
And she did say that it haunts her that she didn't go negative.
Yeah.
She just needs that stoner vote.
That stoner vote.
1,000 more people.
There you go. If that helps her, sure. So yeah, after that, so Kristina, yeah, she's getting over the election. She's in a good place right now, though. So
Yeah.
I'm happy for her. So let's talk about Joel and Julia. Oh my God.
Julia,
I can't even, I'm sorry, I just have to go straight to it. What the heck with that kiss?
That kiss, yeah.
What the heck? Do you guys, did you hate it? Did you like it? Oh my goodness.
Of course I hate it. You have Joel at home and you're cheating on him with Carl. What's his name? Ed?
Ed.
Carl's the other one. But Ed? Really? Come on. You have sweet, compassionate, loyal Joel.
And I'm glad that Joel and Julia, they were being adults, being married couple, be like, we need to get through this. I know we're fighting right now, but we have to work at this like a good married couple should. And they agreed to that. They're going to work on it for the kids, for themselves. And even there was that moment where Sydney was confused because her friend's parents are splitting up. They're getting 2 houses. She didn't realize they were getting a divorce or a separation at least. And that could happen to Joel and Julia. And they're like, we can't have this happen. If Sydney sees this from her friends and not understanding, she's not going to understand it if we do that. So
And isn't
really
her
working on it.
friend Ed's
Yeah,
daughter?
Ed's kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and
She came
my
over to
goodness.
clear things up, too. She came over to basically break up with him or be like, we're not talking anymore. And then they kissed. And they had a way too long of a hug that turned into a kiss.
Way
with,
too
like,
long.
some
All of
back
that-
rubbing.
Awkward,
All of that
long
could have been
pause.
handled over the phone or via text
But
message.
they've had so much built up sexual tension for so long now. It was
It had
it was
to.
gonna
I'm glad
happen.
it didn't lead into anything more than what that kiss was. I felt like it was a sympathetic kiss. They're both at a very vulnerable state. Granted, I didn't like it, but they were both vulnerable right then.
I think
And-
she handled it well though by leaving how she did and like
I think
the
she
way
kind of
did.
brought it on by going there and asking if she was the reason for the divorce or for the separation.
Yeah.
If you only ask that question if you want the answer to be yes. If you know that the answer
or if
deep
you were
down
a
is
big
yes.
factor in that.
Yeah.
Was it really for me?
Because you
that
don't
it
really
worked
have
out?
to ask it because we all already know that like there's feelings between you guys. So there was no reason to say it out loud. So I think that kind of was the opening line to
It almost
welcoming of
justifies
it.
it in a weird way.
Yeah, it almost makes him not the bad guy for like making the move because she kind of opened the door for it. In
and
my
she
opinion,
showed up at his house, even though that could have been done on the phone.
all over
Yeah.
the phone. You were texting. Ed was texting her. You could have just texted right back. We can't do this.
or she could do
Yeah.
what I do. I mean, I just don't text the guys back. Eventually, they get the hint and they leave you alone.
Yeah, just stop texting.
Just stop
Don't
texting.
respond.
Don't respond, and they will drop it. It might be a little awkward when you're doing
Parents
your
don't
committee,
know how to do that, maybe.
but
Yeah. But I feel that's such the Braverman way. They'd rather talk to someone else rather than be over the phone. They're very good in communication in that way, which a lot of families
Yeah.
are lacking. So all the individual Bravermans, they'd rather talk to someone than have a conduit to talk to someone else, such as a phone.
I thought it was weird. We were talking about how they separated these episodes up weird. We knew that kiss was going to happen because they had it in the preview a few weeks ago.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
I'm surprised
But
they
it still
didn't
shocked me.
start off with that, like with the new season. I guess that
Yeah.
is kind of a big season finale thing. but-
what's gonna happen, especially since it ends with them going out on their date night, and he's helping her put on her pearl necklace, and
And
she
she feels guilty.
feels guilty, and I'm like, she's gonna
she's gonna
she's gonna
crack,
crack and tell him, and
and then that's gonna be
That's
a
gonna
whole, He's gonna run
explode.
off to pee. I mean, we're not even in
I kind of
predictions
wanted
yet.
to,
but who
yeah, I
knows?
kind of wanted to see their date night, but maybe because we didn't see it tonight, maybe we'll see it in next week. It is getting a little bit into predictions. Maybe that will come out.
maybe I feel like they're gonna skip ahead
jump
a little
around.
bit,
Hope
and we
not.
won't see the. I feel like it won't be a continuation of like into date night. I think it's gonna be just
We're
they went
still
to their
trying,
date
right.
night and we've
So-
moved on.
So I think it's fair to say that that kiss was wrong
Wrong.
and
wrong.
borderline. Well, that it pretty
Dirty.
much is cheating, but emotional cheating. I mean, I'm not married, but still, you should not kiss another person when you're married.
And she's obviously thinking
No matter,
about him
like-
a lot
yeah.
and like smiling at his text and thinking he's adorable.
And is it bad that when they kissed, the first thought in my mind was, oh my gosh, her family's gonna hate her. How are they gonna like, if her and Joel end up divorced, the kids are over and they're having like one of those big family dinners. How's Zeke gonna look at his daughter, knowing that she cheated on her husband and that's
Yeah.
the reason? And what if Ed is now her boyfriend and then
Oh my
she brings him
goodness.
over? My mind went to all these places. I was like, no, it just can't work
Can't do
out.
that.
I
And
would
Julia
like them
doesn't wanna
together
be-
if they were single, though.
I'm not sure about that.
I like their personalities.
If I didn't know
together.
who Joel was, yes.
Yeah,
They're good friends. They're good friends. They're good. They have great chemistry together, but only as friends. Just saying.
I'll
I feel
agree
like
with that.
personality-wise, she goes better with him, but Joel's hotter.
I think Joel
Joel's
just
like
brings
the
out the
man.
balance of her because she's such a strong-willed, like independent type of woman that Joel has always kind of made her more girly. in a way and more sensitive and brought her down to a level of, normalcy. Is that a word? Am I making stuff up
Normalcy.
again?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't make that one up. Okay. I think he brings her down. He grounds her in a way that
Agreed.
Ed
Yeah.
might not. So that's why I think she's
He's
perfect
like
with Joel.
goofball class clown, fun to hang out with and have beers with.
He's
or
fun for a
something.
little bit, but
Yeah.
then he's
Not
good for like 6
serious.
months, but then it's like the rest of my life,
No,
not so much.
No.
not the right guy.
So yeah, it's interesting where they're gonna go off from there. But I just want to take a quick moment to thank everyone on iTunes and on YouTube for commenting, rating, and subscribing. Please tell a friend. I hope you enjoyed our last interview with Sholo, who plays Victor. That was a fun
was
time,
fun.
and we're hoping to get more people on the show for the rest of the season. So please keep rating, please keep commenting. We love the show, and yes, Parenthood. Back to your scheduled programming. All right, let's talk about Drew. Drew's having some girl issues. College, typical college stuff.
Hashtag college
Friends
problems.
with
Yeah.
Benny's. He's getting close to Natalie, a little too close.
He's too emotionally attached.
Exactly. And yeah, Natalie wants to just be friends with Benny's, no strings attached. Have you ever seen that movie? That always ends up like never working out.
What movie did you just say?
No strings
No
attached.
strings attached.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking in my head.
And friends with benefits too. They both had the same story.
I was thinking in my head a Walk to Remember when she says, "You have to promise you won't fall
No,
in
you're
love
not
with
gonna
me."
have leukemia or whatever she has.
But I was just thinking of the line, like you have to promise not to fall in love with me. That's like the number one rule of a friends with Bennies. You're not allowed
You
to fall in
can't
love.
get
Once
emotionally
emotions get
attached.
involved, you have to detach yourself from the situation.
Well,
Yeah.
Drew hasn't had. I mean, he was with what's her face,
Amy.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, oh,
Ugh,
goodness.
but I'm not excited about her, as you can tell.
No.
But I feel like he hasn't had any really big, serious relationships. And when you're young and first going to college, it's easier to get attached
scary.
to people and become emotionally attached too quickly. And that's normal, I feel like, where there's people that are wanting to go out and have sex with a bunch of people and have fun. It's a college. And then there's the people where they haven't had any serious relationships. So they're going to cling on to and become like really intense with whatever relationship they get involved in.
Friends
very
with
true.
Bennies. Yeah.
And Drew, this is what he needs to do. He needs to go out with that butthead of a roommate that he's got. He just needs to go party hard and just have lose
too
himself.
sensitive and
He's too sensitive and too
uptight.
stiff and uptight, and he needs to just go let loose and have fun. And I think that would help him with his whole attachment things. Not that I'm advocating that you should just be a huge fan whore or anything, but I'm just saying he should, loosen the reins a little bit because he's a serial dater and he gets way attached way too fast and
Well,
he
that's
falls for the wrong types of girls. I mean, he clearly gets issues from his mama too.
yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like
They-
falling for the
even
wrong
male
types of
people, too.
people. So
Well, that's some interesting advice because Drew goes to Crosby of all
was
people
amazing.
for
Which
advice.
I love.
Yes, question.
Love that.
Did you think Crosby's advice was good?
Yes.
Bad?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I agree with Crosby. I think that you're going to want to go wild and have fun at some point in your life. If you don't do that while you're young and you get married and have the family and stuff, you're going to have that itch later on and want to do it probably.
Regret
and
it, yeah.
it's you don't want to regret anything, and also it's harder to do that later on in life. It's better to get out and be a hot mess and get that out of your system as you're young, and you can excuse it on the fact that you're young and stupid and naive.
that's probably what Ed's problem is.
He didn't.
He
do
didn't
that.
get it out of his
He
system.
didn't go
Because
crazy.
remember a couple episodes ago when Joel told Julia, oh yeah, that guy was always flirting with all the moms and, he's got a reputation at the school. It's probably what his problem is.
Probably he
Yeah.
didn't get laid in college.
He didn't go out and be a slut, so now he's trying to do it now. But I thought that Crosby's advice was good. I think that he went to one extreme by saying, sleep with everyone, and that
Yeah.
Drew will
Oh,
do the
yeah.
logical thing and not actually sleep with everyone, but actually go out and try some new things.
Yeah, I did enjoy Crosby because Crosby's the person who just enjoys everything he does in life and makes the most fun out of everything. The point where just sleep with everyone and hit everything you can, not I know.
That's
That
how
was
we
a
end
little
up with
too
That's
intense.
just a little
STDs.
bit, but the thing is, like, I can understand the message. Like, you want to have fun and, test the waters here and there, but sleeping with everyone was just a little bit too much. And we already had seen Drew sleep around with Amy, because she comes back at the end of the episode.
Eye roll.
And well, the thing is, like, Amy left off. She just had an abortion, and then she left for
pieced out.
school. Yeah, and she left for school. So we know that Drew's already had that kind of pregnancy storyline. So now it's just Drew sleeping around with people.
But I think that's, I don't know. I feel like he needs to, because of the whole Amy situation and the pregnancy scare, I don't think that he should be dating anyone his first year of college. And he doesn't have to sleep around either. He just needs to be by himself because, I mean, that happened towards the end of his senior year. It's now the beginning of his freshman year. So when did he really get a chance to get over the fact that he had a child and then his girlfriend had the child, that they had an abortion? He still needs to deal with those feelings and handle that before starting a new relationship with someone, because how do you do that mentally?
I went to school right by Berkeley for my freshman year of college, and I would always go to Berkeley, so I feel like, oh, Drew, I can relate, even though it's like filmed here in Los Angeles. But it's so
don't know that.
his like yes, I do.
People don't know that.
People don't know that, yes. Fake Berkeley, but I feel like his character is very similar to what a lot of people go through with relationships at that age, where you have a super serious relationship in high school that's going to end right when you go to college. That happened to so many people I knew. And then once you get to college, a lot of people, you're independent. You want to, express your feelings, you fall in love, whatever, but you don't want to be tied down because you're so young.
I think that you choose one of two paths after you have that serious relationship in high school. You go Drew's route, which is, to find someone else to attach to, or you go Natalie's route, which is to live life and test the waters and not be tied down. She will eventually, by sophomore year, she'll want Drew, and then they'll have 3 happy years together before, bring by spring her senior year. But freshman year, she's like, no, I just got out of something and I want to just have fun. I think that's the kind of mentality that she's got.
Yeah. And I don't know where Drew's going to end up with Natalie, because being whole friends with Benny, that never works out, really.
Well, she
Especially
kind of
with
broke
his
up
rules.
with him.
Yeah.
He had
his
these
rule was dumb.
rules. Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
not
a
how
good
rules with friends
rules
with
on
Benny.
people.
No, good for Drew for trying to set down some boundaries and have some control over
But
his
the only
life.
boundaries you should have if you're doing a friends with Benny's thing is that if anyone gets feelings, we stop right away so no one gets hurt. Not, okay, your zone's going to be here because I don't want to watch you make out with guys. That already means that you have feelings for someone and
You
it should
can't
just
have
not be
zones.
started.
You don't know where someone's going to be at what time.
Yeah.
Like, people are moving all the time. Zones are stupid.
And the whole point of Friends with Benefit is the luxury of being able to make out with a guy at a party. And if that doesn't work out, 3 o'clock in the morning, you still have that buddy to text for your booty call.
That's true.
That is the luxury. So you can't say
Booty call.
that if you see me making out with someone in here, I can't call you later.
Well, that's why she wasn't down anymore, because he said
Yeah.
his rules, and she's like, no, I'm not in a relationship with you. I don't need any rules. Like, I can go bang another guy like I did at that frat house last week.
But I do have to give it to his roommate. He was actually being a bro and giving him a warning that Natalie's sleeping around, so therefore setting down boundaries.
I mean, except that he kind of said it in a dick way. He was
did.
like, oh, yeah, well,
are
I'm just
you
saying, next time you hit it, make sure you wear a condom because she gives all her friends benefits.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, so she's a slut.
she's a slut.
Pretty
basically.
much. I don't think Drew should be sleeping with her, but Drew should
I'd
I
rather
think
him
Drew
sleep
needs
with
to
her than
step it
Amy.
up. I think he's out
Yeah.
of both of their leagues, and he's adorable, and he could get a way cuter, smarter girl. It's Berkeley.
The
Smart, nice
problem,
girl.
The only problem, the thing that's working against him is that he's the boy you settle down with and take home to mom, not the boy you just have fun with for a while. And girls freshman year are looking for a little fun.
Yeah,
That's why I say sophomore year, he's in the clear.
Yeah, and he's the guy that only dates one person at a time.
Yeah, he's serial monogamous.
Well, that should be interesting. So, speaking of Drew's crazy family, like Sarah and her friend who had benefits tonight in this episode, Carl, the neighbor. They get together. You kind of knew that was going to happen.
It had to at some point, right?
That was building up for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like them together? Are they cute? Yes. No?
I do like them together.
I loved how they were together in tonight's episode in that room with all those space heaters. Granted, I have a space heater. I use it like every day in the winter. And you can fill one room up, you can heat one room up with just one space heater. They did not need four. and I will say from personal experience, I have blew out a fuse from my space heater.
From just your one.
From just my one. So having 4 space heaters, of course the lights are going to go out.
Maybe that was his intent, so that they could be alone in the dark. And
That's
then
what I was thinking.
no heat, no lights. What do?
Romantic.
You make out.
No heat equals turn up the heat.
Turn up the heat in the bed. There you go.
Romantic. It was cute to see them together, though, because we've seen them flirt here and there, but now they got together tonight.
I'm glad to see her with someone new, too.
Yeah.
Besides, I thought she was going to go crawling back to Hank in one of these episodes soon.
Do not like her and Hank.
I feel like they still might hook up or something, though. I feel like that's not done for some reason.
I really don't like them.
I don't either.
I liked, what was her fiance's name?
He's too negative.
What's her fiance?
Jason Ritter's character.
Yeah, Jason
What's his name?
I forget
I'm
his
totally
name.
blanking right now. It's late here.
What, Jason?
What's Jason Ritter's character's name?
Sarah's Mark.
Mark.
Sarah.
I knew that.
I mean, I loved her with
Who's coming
Mark.
back for an episode?
Yeah, loved her with Mark.
Love Mark.
Don't like her with Hank. Like her with Carl.
Okay.
Okay.
I like Carl, but I feel like he's a little bit sleazy.
Probably.
A little bit of a
he
sleazeball.
seems like a little bit of a player.
Like,
but
he might be good for fun for a little bit, but
Yeah.
maybe not forever.
But the thing about Carl that's so different from all the other guys, he seems to have the less baggage as of right now, like less emotional problems.
But
in
we
his
don't
life.
know him that well.
Not yet.
The
Like-
baggage comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. He sleeps with 20-year-olds and he's in his 40s. But I think that because Sarah has such a young spirit about her, that might be the girl who could change him and he could end up really falling for her and change his ways.
He already really likes her.
He already really likes her. They already have that good, banter back and forth
But she
with
said,
each other.
no, I'm putting up a wall,
putting up
and
a
that's not
wall.
happening again. That was a one-night stand.
Until
Good
he
for
penetrates
Sarah.
that wall,
Yeah.
bringing it down. Ayo.
Bringing it down.
I mean, but good for Sarah for putting up those boundaries because she doesn't tend to have boundaries with a lot of guys. But she's putting her foot down, being like, I've done this a few times already with other guys, and here's my place, here's the line, don't cross it.
I thought it was cute how he got her to come inside his place because
By saving her from
yeah,
the
she was
crazy
getting
neighbors.
yelled at by some of the neighbors because the heat wasn't working. So he was like, "Oh, you need to fix something in my apartment." It was really rude to them, and then pulled her in just to save her.
Right. And so I did like
That's cute.
tonight's episode with them too. It was the lighter, more comedic storyline, and then
Unlike
of this episode, and then it
Compared
gets
to
compared to
daughter.
poor
Amber.
Amber and Ryan. Goodness, I can't.
her
even.
acting in this episode.
Both of their acting, like Sarah and Amber together. I love
They're
just
all
putting them two together, and like magic, emotional magic, is gonna come out of them.
Yes.
But so Ryan and Amber, they're having troubles because last episode we saw Ryan beat up the whole band crew.
He beat the
there.
crap out of that guy.
Crap out of him.
Like he couldn't play.
The drummer can't play because apparently you need both hands to play drums. Oh, who knew?
Who knew?
And causing they lost a week of work at the luncheonette, and it's also affecting the business aspects. So Adam and Crosby talked to Amber about it, concerned about Ryan if he's ever hit, or got violent with
I really
Amber.
love that moment that, she's sitting there thinking, it's going to be all about the business and, that she's going to get fired and needs to go. And they sat there as her uncles and were just concerned about her and her safety.
Are you safe? Call us.
Yeah. Has he ever tried
mom.
anything like that with you? I mean, I can't imagine Crosby and Adam trying to go beat up Ryan at all, but just knowing that, that sentiment is there and that, they love her and, kind of, are the father figure for her right now. Like, hey, do we need to go kick some punk's butt for you? I really loved seeing that tonight.
Agreed. And then, so, yeah, that happens. And Ryan ended up lying or not telling the full truth to Amber about those anxiety pills that she found before a few days ago, because she gets all concerned. And the fact that Ryan doesn't trust Amber enough to tell her that he's still using them.
He's not an honest and open person. He's very, bottled up.
Secretive.
Yeah, and that's unhealthy. When you bottle things up and you just let it all out, that's not healthy.
Well, that's why he goes crazy and beats people up. He's definitely, a fighter type of person. He's in the army and he likes fighting and he beats people up. It's if he could just do some, taekwondo or, take some boxing classes, maybe that would help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Another
aggression out another
outlet
way.
to get that aggression out.
Yeah, exercise. I don't know, something.
I felt like when he went to talk to Zeke was the first time that I sort of started realizing how much he's going through, because he is the kind of person who keeps everything bottled up. And I know people like that, and it is hard to get them to open up, but seeing him talk to Zeke, I thought he explained himself a lot better, where I finally understood his side of things a little bit better. And in hearing it, I was like, why don't you just say that same exact thing to Amber?
Just talk.
Just talk to her and let her know. And then, you guys can go from there instead of keeping it bottled up. And then you go off and then she's scared and her family, all this stuff. But what he said to Zeke was exactly what Amber actually needs to hear from him. And the fact that he never even tells her that, hurts my heart, because it could work if he just told her that.
Communication is key in any relationship, whether it's, family members or you're dating someone. But the Bravermans are so good at communicating, just like how Julia showed up at Ed's house, things like that. But he's the opposite. So she's just talking and talking and talking, and he's just taking it and doesn't know how to respond.
And the thing is, when he was talking to Zeke, he said the line that you're the two different types of people. You're that you live in the army world or the civilian world.
You have to pick one or the other.
You have to pick one. And there was a look on his face. I was like, oh, I know which one he's going to pick, unfortunately. And Ryan, ends up re-enlisting. I feel like that's something you should tell your loved one before you do that.
Not Zeke.
Oh
It was
my gosh.
Zeke was the therapist in the situation, and then he impulsively did it.
But I feel like Ryan should have told Amber that he was considering going back or
Have a talk about
Yeah,
it.
talk about it before you do it.
And can we talk about the editing of that scene real quick? Because I loved that as soon as he said, that he re-enlisted, that they just took away
The audio,
the audio for
Oh
her,
my
because
goodness.
it made it that much more, emotional to watch her crying and breaking down, and you can just imagine what she's saying to him, and then you see him just kind of staring off, and you're like, oh my gosh, Ryber is over. There's no coming back from this. If he leaves this time, she's definitely hooking up with that drummer.
And they spun it around on us because we thought she was going to be the one
Yeah.
to end it.
I know.
And we thought the ball was in her court, and she was going to her mom asking advice. And
Yeah.
Sarah
it took
gave
a lot for
great
her to go to
advice,
Sarah
too.
for advice.
She showed up at the door bawling, and I really liked that scene where they were together talking about it before.
Yes, I love that because, of course, we all know that Sarah's going to give her mother opinion, but then Amber really asked just as a person, as
human.
a non-judgmental being that you can just talk to, and the two opinions from the person and then the mother aspect, and I thought that was really nice. And Sarah handled both of those responses very well.
Yeah, when she said the one for how she did the non-mother answer, she said basically you're such a loving person, you're so brave and stuff. And then for the one where as her mom, how she would answer. It was like, you're such a tough person, and I know you can get through this, but as your mom, I don't want to have to see you go through this, which I thought was a really good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did a great job. She was definitely Mother of the Year award in that moment, especially with everything that they've been through so far this season, with Amber trying to plan her wedding and, you know, Sarah not being that supportive of her doing it. The fact that she could take her feelings about everything and push them aside to be there for her daughter just means that, you know, her heart really is in the right place, and it always has been.
And all her reasons for fighting about the wedding is because she cares about her daughter so much in the end. So.
Yeah. And she kind of
Cute
turned out to
family.
be right about
Right,
everything.
yeah.
She was.
And she didn't rub it in her face, be like,
Nope.
see, I told you so. She, you know, let her baby girl cry in her mom's lap.
And that was so heartbreaking to see Amber go back to Sarah at the end of the episode and just bawl her eyes out. That it was kind of like in reminiscence of when Amy had her abortion and Drew went back to Sarah and cried his eyes out.
Yeah.
So that whole family,
So
oh my
much
God,
crying.
So much
many
crying.
things.
I wish we had seen a little bit of Crosby's family this episode, but I get it.
I
Huge
love
cast,
Crosby.
so we can't see everyone every
A
week.
lot of people.
A lot of people. I'll have to wait till January 2nd to see Crosby.
I
Yeah.
like when he recommended having beers with Drew when it was 9 in the morning and he's
Yeah.
holding the baby.
It's like, oh, I've been up since 5, so it just feels like it's later. I was like, even so, 5 hours from 9 o'clock is still not really that
And
late in the
late.
day.
And even so, not Ryan, I'm sorry.
Drew,
Drew, guys,
isn't
there's so many
21.
people. Drew is still underage. So, and like, granted, that was the more lighter comedic side of this episode. So I'm glad they had that in. It was a nice balance, especially how the episode ended. Oh goodness! Anything else about this episode? There's so many good things happen. I loved it. It was definitely probably one of my favorite episodes of this
It's a really
season
good episode.
so far.
It's a good one.
Yeah, anything else? All right. You know what? Let's go into some.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so fun things. A lot of fun things. We've been gone for 2 weeks, so a few fun things has happened. Today, this morning, today's December 12th, we had the Golden Globe nominations, and Monica Potter, who plays Kristina Braverman, got nominated.
Because I thought she totally got snubbed on the Emmys.
You know what? I
So-
think Lauren Grab gets snubbed for everything.
Well, for
but-
everything, yeah.
Yeah, so Monica Potter got nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a Series, Miniseries, or TV Movie, along with the other nominations Jacqueline Bisset, Janet McTeer, Hayden Panettiere, and Sofia Vergara. So that's a pretty interesting lineup.
She can do it.
I hope she does it. I mean, and definitely put Parenthood on the map.
Yeah.
So good for her, great for Monica, and then also Ray Romano. He was on the David Letterman show a few days ago, and it was just a fun interview. He talked about his family, being a comedian, and how to satisfy your wife for so long. And yes, he said
Like in a
satisfaction.
sexual way?
That and just like how to keep the relationship going, because he's been married for, I believe he said, 27 years now,
Oh,
or
wow.
25 to 27 years. So to keep a relationship like still fresh and stuff, and him being a comedian himself, he's got to keep it light and funny and stuff. So he just, it was a really fun interview. Go on David Letterman for that, and of course I have fun photos. A few days ago, Rolling Stones had Mae Whitman and Miles Heiser. They had a bunch of pictures from the set, and they narrated a few of them, and there's a total of like 21 photos, but I have the first one here, and hold it, there we go. The first one here we have, sorry, I'm also, for you who are listening, I'm also engineering as well, so just give me a moment. The first photo right there, it's the whole Braverman family on set just cheering. And May said that we've greeted each other this way every day for the past 5 years, which is really sweet. And then the second one is Mae Whitman. There's Mae Whitman and Dax Shepard in the makeup trailer, and they said our morning routine includes going over last night's most popular viral videos. And then our third one here is Lauren Graham and Mae Whitman.
I love that Lauren Graham has an actual camera
I
here and
know.
not a cell phone camera.
So classy. Love it, love it. And Mae Whitman's making a funny face. Miles says, here's what the characters look like, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because Mae actually voices the character of April O'Neil. So those are just a few photos. You can go on Rolling Stones and find that link. We also will tweet it out for you. But just a quick teaser. The other photos are really fun. I highly suggest you go and see them. And then our next one, Erica Christensen, just last week, she went to Disney here in Anaheim, California. And it was late at night after hours. She didn't have to wait in line.
Okay, I was gonna say, how are there no
There's
people in
no
the
one
picture
there.
by the castle lit up? That is not okay.
She was tweeting on Instagram.
Did she get to stay at the secret hotel above the Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know.
Or the one inside the castle?
That'd
Because
be
I'll be really
awesome.
jealous.
I don't know.
NBC and Disney aren't even related.
They need to work on that. So she's at Disney having fun, and then here's just another picture of her in the shadow and her new Mickey ears. So really fun pictures for the Parenthood. I love the show, and of course, don't forget that Parenthood is still nominated for the People's Choice Awards. I believe you can still go and vote for that, and also tweeting out hashtagging Parenthood is still considered as a vote. So anything else? Any news from you guys? I believe Parenthood comes back from the winter hiatus January
2nd.
2nd. So we'll be back
Taking
for
off
that.
the new year right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad we don't have to wait so long.
Me too.
For the hiatus, because when you leave for a month or two, and you kind of lose the momentum.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go away for 2 weeks and spend time with our real families, come back, and then have our TV family again.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm fine with that.
Sounds
so.
appropriate.
Yeah. All right, so with that, let's go to...
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right.
All right, so I think Julia is going to crack and tell Joel that she kissed Ed, and that's going to stir up some fire and cause some drama. They're going to have to work through maybe couples therapy. Who knows?
Who knows? I think that, well, from the preview we saw, it looks like Drew and Amy rekindle something. Ugh.
Gross.
How were you in love with Natalie 2 seconds ago, and then Amy comes back and
Is Amy the
He's a
rebound
teenage
now?
boy.
he's a teenage boy just trying to get it in.
It's true.
And so I
Exclusively.
predict that they have a little bit of a fling, but it kind of makes Natalie jealous that Drew is now actually spending time with another girl, and that brings Natalie back into the playing field.
I think Drew just needs a new girl. But that won't happen.
I had this terrible feeling that Amy, maybe she didn't give up the baby. And then she goes
Surprise.
back to Drew and said, "Oh, surprise, I still have the baby."
When she showed up at the door, I thought she was going to be holding a baby. I will give you that. I thought there was going to be a baby in her
I thought
hand.
so too.
Maybe.
That's a definite possibility.
I think that would really throw Drew for a twist and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be sleeping around with people.
Well, then Natalie would really want him because he's a hot single dad. That's sensitive right there. Girls dig the sensitive guy with the baby.
With the baby, I don't know. I think they'd be juicy though. So
What about Ryan and Amber? Like how
it
the
end of
family's
Ryber?
gonna?
It can't be
It's
end
the
of
yeah.
Ryber.
end of Ryber.
How are the uncles and her mom and everyone gonna react?
I kind of think it's the end of Ryber.
Yeah, unfortunately,
so.
I think so too, and I think they'll call off the wedding.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
Joel and Julia, they're working at it. They're being adults and they're working at their relationship, but I still think it's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
Then-
it's going to get
then
worse
before
before
it
it
gets
gets
better.
better.
So,
But
I don't know.
hopefully, I don't think Joel and Julia are donezo yet, but I think that Ryber is.
I just know that Julia is such a good person. She wants to have a clean conscience. Conscience. Am I saying it right?
Well, because we saw in the preview,
here.
that he says, you know, like, are you having an affair with him? And I think that she'll be like, no, I'm not.
And he starts
but I
beating
did
him
kiss
up.
him once.
Yeah,
So
oops.
What
there's
if
that?
Ed slips out that bit? Oh, we did kiss. I think
Oh, she
that'd
didn't
be
tell
more
you about
interesting.
that?
Yeah, like Ed and
Like,
Joel
the kiss
just
didn't
just
mean
a
anything.
random normal conversation, and it slips out that, and you know, Ed and Julia kiss. That'd be interesting. So.
They're gonna have a fight.
It'll be
According
interesting
to
to
the
see.
preview.
So many things to look forward to for January 2nd. T, where can we find you?
You can find me all over the Facebooks and the internets and Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson.
And you can find me all over those same places at Danica Kennedy.
And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else. And definitely rate and comment us on iTunes. And we will see you January 2nd. Have a great holiday,
Happy
everybody.
holidays!
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays.
See you in 2014.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.